Good morning, everyone. I've been asked by my student from secondary school on how to write a speech. Apparently, his exam paper is on tomorrow, and they are required to write a speech, and the teacher has not taught them on how to write a speech. So this is the last minute preparation. Okay, quickly, just in brief, because I know you need you need many things to do, right? So quickly, how to write a speech for your exam paper secondary school level. Now, first of all, you start with a greeting, salutation. Imagine, always imagine that if you are the speaker, you're standing on stage and people are in front of you, right? Who are the people? Context. Who is the audience? Now, if it's adults, professionals, the elderly, and so on, of course, you just say, ladies and gentlemen. That is the conventional greeting. But if it's in a familiar setting, for example, your peers, right? You're giving a speech in school. It can be either, for example, teachers and fellow students, or dear friends. It depends. Again, I say it depends on the context. If you're giving a speech in class, of course, you're going to be dear friends, right? Dear fellow students. If they're teachers, principal, and so on, you say dear teachers and fellow students, right? And then after that, what's next? After salutation, do not start to introduce yourself yet. What you do is you introduce a hook to attract, to appeal, to engage, to captivate the audience. So what do you do? You say, for example, now normally I will begin with a question, and that is the fail-safe way, the safest way to start an engaging speech. Have you ever thought of suicide? If the topic is on suicide, right? Have you ever thought of suicide? Right, engaging, right? When I use the word you, or when I say have you ever thought of suicide? You're engaging the audience straight away. So the audience, because when you ask a question, the audience will be thinking of a way to answer, the response. And that is the fastest, quickest way to engage the audience. So use a hook. Use a question as a hook. Have you ever thought of suicide? I hope not. Example. Okay? Just to trigger uh, the discussion or the thinking process of the audience. Now next, what's the next step? Then you introduce some background information, right? Now, if you don't have statistics, of course, you won't have statistics because it's an exam paper, right? You didn't come prepared. You didn't come prepared. I mean, you have no idea that it was going to be a subject on suicide, for example. So put some background information, right? Maybe a personal anecdote. I ever had a friend who thought of suicide. I ever had a family member, a relative, who indulged in indulge in act that was close to suicide, for example. You can use personal anecdotes. Of course, you can use some general information. Um, yeah, if you don't have statistics, you can say the general phenomena. For example, do you know that suicide is on the rise in Singapore? More students are thinking of suicide. I do not. Okay, you just put in some background information. So again, let me just go through. Number one is the salutation or the greeting. Number two is the hook. And number three is the background information. A bit, just a bit. And then number four, many students forget this. Introduce who you are. Right? Imagine that the MC or the teacher in class has not introduced you. So you must introduce yourself. I will call myself Rahman. I'm Rahman and I'm a student from this class, or whatever. It's qualify yourself, right? I'm a student from this class, I'm a student of this school, right? And maybe you can just connect yourself to the topic at hand. For example, you say, I'm Rahman and I'm from one of you. I'm one of you in this class, right? And personally, I've never thought of suicide, or I had a thought about suicide once, right? Connect it because you know why you need to connect with the audience. It's best to do so on a personal level, right? So do it. So after that, then what is next? After you introduce yourself, qualify yourself with the topic, and then you go on into the contents. So what are the contents? Again, just like what when I say, follow PEEL. Usually for speech, right, you're talking about a topic like suicide. So what you do is you give two positive peels, and then one negative peel, and then one counter positive peel. So the first peel you talk positively against suicide because, example, suicide is not the way out of your problems. People think that by taking the easy way out, there is suicide. There are problems with end, right? But it's not. You have a full engaging life in front of you, right? You have so many things to try out. For example, that's the first peel. Of course, don't forget peel point. E is elaborate. E is example, and finally link it back to the point, right? Same thing, same thing. I'm not going to go through that. But remember, you're writing a speech, so it must be, it must be orally friendly. That's where I can do it, right? It's not written down, it's spoken, right? So don't be too convoluted in your speech or in your sentences. It cannot be too long. Your sentences cannot be too long. No, because you're giving a speech. So make sure your sentences are moderate to short. So salam to long. Oh, see, oh my, see, I'm talking during breakfast and my family is here visiting. Yeah, just carry on. Okay, so remember, your sentences must be short or moderate. Okay, cannot be too long. So second P also the positive part, right? And then after that, we have the negative P. Negative P is against suicide. I mean, no, for suicide, for example, for the which against the appeal. For instance, right? Some people think that I just reiterate. Right? Some people think that suicide is the easy way out. That's the end of the problems, right? So that's the negative pill. That's what I mean. But of course, then after that you counter with a positive pill. That is definitely not the case, right? You say if you engage in suicide, you're passing on your problems to those you leave behind, right? So you do not know you're creating more problems other than you're ending problems. You're creating new problems for those you leave behind. See, so you can see that it's a counter pill, right? Counter pill. So remember, two positive pills followed by one negative pill, and then the counter positive pill to that negative pill. And then, of course, do not go straight to resolution or conclusion. What you do is solutions. What are the solutions to that, right? There are counseling outlets, or if there are none, create one. The school can play a part in this. Students should be, or people who think of suicide should be counseled or advised to always refer to their close ones, their family members, right? To those with expertise on the matter, right? Do not keep it secret. For example, give solution, give solutions. Okay, so solutions. And then finally, you go to resolution. Resolution always links back to the topic, right? So you sum up in summary, in conclusion, therefore, right? So you do all these keywords to use to sum up, to say that to sum up also can be used to show that you have reached the end. So you say you talk about suicide, summarize the whole thing. Okay, summarize in condensed form. La 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 la. The points again, and then a bit of the solution, the general solution, and that's it. Thank you for listening to my speech and may you have a nice day. Number one is thank the audience for listening to you, for spending time to listen to your speech, and then after that, a hope or wish for them, okay, for future. Or you can even say you can listen to my future speeches, and then you put a bit of inspiration, right? May our live full lives together, not separately. Together, we can achieve great things. Nice, right? Then and that's it. So let's sum up everything. Number one is salutation, dear teachers and friends. Okay, number two is your hook. Have you ever thought of suicide? Number three is some background data to back up your hook. I hope not. I know that many students think of suicide, for example, right? And after that will be introduction of who you are and how you relate to the topic. Your qualification, right? Qualification is I am Rahman, I'm a student from this class, and personally I've never thought of suicide. But I pity those who do. I empathize with those who do. Right? For example, there's the qualification. After that, then followed by the pills, two positive pills, one negative pills to swallow. Just kidding. And then we have the positive pill to counter the negative pill. And then after that, you follow with solutions. Always remember, solutions are most important. Don't just some people just talk, but no solution, right? Uh, NATO, what's that? Uh, no action, talk only. Don't be like that. But NATO is good. I'm just saying the acronym. And then, of course, finally, the resolution, right? Say, to sum up, in conclusion, in summary, you talk about the topic in general. Talk about a bit about the solution, general solution, your wishes for the future, right? And after that, then you say thank you for hearing my speech. And then a little bit of wish. I hope that we can grow together, live together in harmony, and enjoy life to the fullest. For example, the end. That's it. That's how you write a great speech. Not just write a speech, how to write a great speech. Understand or not? I don't like to use understand or not. I say great. Carry on.